And we're here. Okay. So, welcome back, everyone, to the second episode of the I Have No Idea What's Going On podcast. This is Harrison again. Host is never going to change. So, I hope you're getting ready to listen to my voice every time. I just want to say thank you to everyone who listened to my first podcast. I got about 40 listeners on both YouTube and SoundCloud, so that's excellent. I just want to thank everyone who listened to it. I really appreciate it, and I took a lot of criticism from my friends who had listened to, or people who I talked to. I asked for feedback, and I got some very positive feedback. Obviously, if people are just being nice or whatever, that's great. Thank you. I mean, I wouldn't be offended if there's any negative feedback, but I did take a lot of the criticism, and I'm going to apply it to make this podcast better. So, thank you to everyone who listened to the first one and send me back some feedback. And again, this podcast obviously is not for everyone. Not everyone listens to podcasts, but this is just something, for me to do in my free time. Maybe it's something that you can do when you're sitting on a fucking bus for an hour and a half in the morning like I do every day when I go to work. Or you just have some time to kill. You're doing something around the house or whatever. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who listened, and share it. Share it with someone who you think would like podcasts. You don't have to, whatever. It's obviously light, but do that. Trying to get the word out. Trying to make it a little bit bigger, but we'll just see how it goes. This is all for fun at the end of the day. So, yeah, thank you. So we'll get right into it. And the first thing I want to talk about today is a movie that I saw recently, actually this Thursday, and it was called BlacKkKlansman. So BlacKkKlansman is a movie that came out, just directed by Spike Lee. Just to give a quick synopsis of the film, it's so there's a Colorado State police officer, whatever, department that they're hiring for a black police officer. So this guy in the movie has become the first, I believe, black police officer. So that's pretty fucking cool. It was not filmed in the 70s, but it takes place in the 70s. So, racism is still alive and well. And the main plot about the movie is the main plot of the film is the black police officer actually comes into contact with the KKK, and what the whole funny jokey thing about the movie is that so the black police officer gets on the phone and he talks to the KKK in his white voice. So they say in the film is they talk like a white man and they talk in jive. So I guess jive is the way black people talk, air quotations, but yeah, so he gets on the phone with members of the KKK, and, he gets high up in the rankings there. He gets to the Grand Wizard, David Duke, who I guess is a current member of the KKK, or he was the Grand Wizard, no longer the Grand Wizard. But yeah, he just goes through the ranks, and he talks to everyone, and so they send a white guy undercover to act like him while he's on the phone with all these KKK members. So it's it's an undercover kind of movie. It was a great movie, to be completely honest. I actually enjoyed it. Give it about probably an 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10 review. But what I really want to take from this movie is overall, it's a great movie. I will not say that, but I do have my critiques of the film and things I just want to generally talk about movies, which I just kind of did this week. I was working night shifts this week, so I was up in the fucking middle of the night picking up garbage and sleep up all day, whatever. So I watched the movies, and this movie kind of got me thinking about just kind of a couple of topics. So what I want to talk about is my issue with the movie. So I support equal rights and all that. I don't think anybody should be discriminated against. You know, it's fucked up. But what the film does, and the director Spike Lee does, is throughout the film he likes to take very, very subliminal but obvious shots at the current president of the United States, Donald Trump. So there's parts in the film where they're talking about, like, I don't know, like the KKK, like they're sitting in a room and they're like, how are we gonna make America great again? And you know, they kind of like look at the camera or something like that, and they just make like a little joke. So at the end of the movie, it has a lot of Black Lives Matter, and it shows a lot of protests and things, you know, for equal rights, and it shows Donald Trump and whatever. I guess so. What my majority consensus from looking at this is, you know, Spike Lee made a great movie, but he likes to he made very, very obvious remarks to his own political beliefs in the movie. And my issue with that is that when I watch a movie, you know, I just want to enjoy the movie. I don't really fucking care about what prime minister or president or leader you like. So looking at that, I was just kind of not bummed out. Like, I definitely think it's very, very important to talk about these kind of things, you know, equal rights and all that. But I just don't believe when you're making a film, you need to make very obvious statements about, I guess, your political beliefs. And it's not that there's a problem with it. It's just, I feel like media, the media right now is just trying to fucking strangle Donald Trump and make him their bitch. And, you know, they're trying to make a lot of bad, like what he says, fake news, right? So they're trying to make all this news about him and I guess not put him down. They're trying to target him, obviously. But as a lot of people say, there's no such thing as bad publicity, so I don't think he's really hurt by it. But yeah, I thought it was, you know, it was very moving at the end of the film when they showed all these protests and Donald Trump, you know, after the Charleston rally where all the white supremacists came out, which is really fucked up. I don't think that shit should fucking exist. That's pretty putrid. But, you know, he said something about there was a lot of fine gentlemen out there, fine people out there on both sides. And, you know, the media really, really, really wanted to twist that. And I think that, you know, he did misspeak. He misspoke about what went on down there. And, you know, a lot of people are trying to pin him as a racist. And to be completely honest, it probably is racist. He's a fucking 70-year-old white man, like, who runs the United States. If you don't think that your own government is racist, you're kind of dumb. But, you know, it's even in Canada, man, like in the indigenous, we have not an indigenous problem, obviously, but a lot of concerns in Canada for minority groups is indigenous people. And, you know, I took a couple classes in high school, and not a couple, I took one, but I learned about some indigenous issues, and, you know, it's a very prominent issue we have in Canada. Not saying it's indigenous people are an issue, obviously, but the issues that come along with, you know, not proper housing and living spaces, you know. There's a what's it called? There's a town about 500 kilometers from Timmins. It's called Attawapiskat, and, you know, a couple years ago they broke the news that they had like a super high suicide rate in their youth, and like that's kind of issues I'm talking about, you know, trying to relate that together. But you know, I just felt that, to get back on the film, I felt that, you know, it's very, very important to address these issues, but I don't think making a movie that you're going to profit off of is helping, you know? Like Spike Lee, like you're probably going to generate a decent amount of goo-wop from this. Sorry to say goo-wop. That sounded probably terrible. Sorry, but you know, you're going to generate a lot of money off this. And are you like Spike Lee? I don't know. Obviously, he's probably pro Black Lives Matter movement and all that. But you're profiting off a film where you're just kind of targeting someone, and I don't feel like that's right. Yeah, I just don't feel that's right. It's not really that not cool, but you know, you're just trying to target someone and put them down. You know, I'm not sympathizing with Donald Trump in any way. He's doing some really fucked up shit at the border, currently separating families and all that, which is disgusting and all that. Sorry, but yeah, it's fucked up. And I don't know what I take from that film is to put a final point down is I just don't think you should make political views in your movies and make them very blatantly obvious. You should separate your own views and you should separate your views from storytelling. That's what I'm trying to get at. You know, they did an excellent job. Like I don't know if there's a book out there, I'd love to read the book. But you should just keep the story how it should be. And yeah, I just felt like it was a little unnecessary at the end. You know, if you wanna make a statement, do that on something that you're not gonna profit off of. That probably these people are the money they're never gonna see. You know, so. Yeah. So other things I've thought about movies. Sorry. This week is I was watching a movie called Lone Survivor. It's a movie about these Navy SEALs in Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever. And it's starring Mark Wahlberg, you know, just typical action movie. But what I was really, really thinking about when I got from it was I sat back and I thought about all the action war movies I thought about, and you always see, like, yes, you see that, you know, there's a white guy who sometimes is like the leader of the bad guys or whatever. But what I want to get at is, you know, a lot of movies are like a lot of American movies are centralized on their American pride. So you see a bunch of white dudes in Navy SEAL uniforms who are heroes, right? And you know they do you know, Iraq and Iran and all those wars, the Gulf War and the Taliban and all that. Like, I mean, they definitely some of them were kind of unnecessary, but some of them are very important, you know, to keep the people of these countries safe. But what I want to come to terms with is you see a lot of brown actors or black actors or whatever race, and they're usually playing the bad guy, right? You know, so you see in this movie Lone Survivor, you see all the brown Iraqi people or Afghanistan people, you know, they're playing the bad guys, they're playing the Taliban or whatever. And I was thinking about it, I was like, you know, when you sign up for this kind of movie, do your morals kind of set in? You're like, okay, I'm playing, you know, no, I'm not saying all brown people are Muslim or whatever, but you know, when you see something like that, or you just got to think about it, you know, do you feel okay that you're playing the bad guy? You're playing the bad guy in the movie, right? You know, you're getting shot by the hero, the white man. And I was just thinking about it. Like, and that's what a lot of, like, and, you know, that's a very not weird thought, but I was just thinking about that the entire time watching the movie. I was like, you know, the black people, like, and this goes with media, you know, you always see, well, like, I took a couple media courses and stuff, but in sociology, but you see that the news obviously is looking for the most fucked up shit, the most stuff that's gonna get them the most attention, right? So you always see 5 dead in shooting, or baby fell off 42-story building, or yada yada yada, right? You see all this horror in the news, and it's goddamn, and what I would say is they mostly pry off of minorities. And I don't want to make this podcast political or interview. To be honest, I'm fucking cool with everyone. If you know me, I don't think if you know me, I don't have any bias on who the fuck I hang out with and who I like because of who, like, their race or their skin color or their sexual orientation or any of that. If I fuck with you, I fuck with you. If you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. Like, it's simple as that. There's nothing like that. But it's just kind of trying to make these podcasts interesting. But that's what I thought about. I was just like, this is weird that minorities are playing the bad guys, and it's just something it's odd. It's very odd. And another thing I want to touch on about media and film and movies is that I actually saw this week. So there's an actress, Ruby Rose, and she's like a very open like gay character. Not gay character. Gay. She's very open with her sexuality, obviously, and so I believe she just accepted the role of Batwoman for, I guess, a Batman film, and I don't know exactly what the sexual orientation of Batwoman is, but I feel like, okay, so it says here that she likes girls, so she's lesbian, whatever. But what it got me thinking again is, why do certain actors or actresses from certain backgrounds have to play their roles? So why does a gay woman have to play a gay character? I don't feel that, it's not like I'm opposed to it, whatever. Ruby Rose is probably an excellent actress. I don't deny that. But I find it odd that you have to be gay to play a gay character. And a lot of what I've been seeing on social media and stuff is, again, I'm not racist. I don't want to keep on having to be like, say this. I don't feel like I should have to say this, but a lot of what I'm seeing is on my Instagram feed is we need black superheroes, or we need gay superheroes, or we need this kind of superhero, or this kind of actor, or whatever. And it's just like, one of the posts that I saw is that it's time for change, and it was all it was centered around African American actors and actresses playing characters, right? So one of them was James Bond, and so Idris Elba is a black man. He's a pretty great actor. He was in I don't know, terrible that I don't know, but he's in some movies. Can't think of any off the top of my head. Let's just Google it. But anyways, he's he's in Avengers, Thor, whatever, The Dark Tower, movies like that. And he's in talks to be 007 for the new James Bond movie. And that's great. I don't have any issue with it. But what my opinion is I just don't feel like you need to. For me, I like movies and stuff, but I just don't like remakes, and I feel like a lot of people don't like remakes and sequels. You kind of want something fresh, right? So you look at this kind of stuff, and you're like, it's great, progressive. Obviously, have a black James Bond. I don't give a fuck. Excellent. One of the things that a TV show in the UK, Doctor Who, did was they had a female doctor, and very very famous UK TV show, who had every single character who played the doctor before was a man, right? And people were mad about this, that it's a woman playing Doctor Who. It's like, that doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter who plays it. At the end of the day, they just have to be good at acting, right? That's all that really matters. So to get on the point that I was making about Ruby Rose and Idris Elba, is that I just don't feel that you have to be a certain race or sexual orientation to be like to have a character role, and I don't know, it just bothers me a little bit. I just I have no problem with it if they want to remake fucking whatever James Bond 10 more times with a bunch of different actresses and actors, but like as long as you make them good, that's all. That's all. Like, there is a lot of people who are racist, and it's fucked up. But at the end of the day, I think people who go to the movies just care about seeing a good movie. And one of the things I'm thinking about the most is not Scarlett Johansson. So there's a Japanese anime that was called Ghost in the Shell, and it had a remake for live action, and Scarlett Johansson played the main character, and the main character in the anime or whatever is Asian, right? So everybody was mad that Hollywood is whitewashing and all that. And I do feel Hollywood probably is whitewashing a little bit, but at the same time, I'd probably just bet Scarlett Johansson, one, she's a fucking A-list actress, so they kind of want the best actress to play. Like when you're making a movie like that, which probably costs millions and millions of dollars, you want an actress to be good. You don't want to fucking pick a shitty actress. Obviously, if they really wanted Asian descent actress or Eastern Asia fucking actors, they could have looked for him. But I feel like at the end of the day, they probably just wanted Scarlett Johansson, and Scarlett Johansson was like, yeah, I'll do this movie. So yeah, it's just that like I've just been analyzing film and all that kind of, not analyzing, but you sometimes you just think about these thoughts and you kind of just wonder what the fuck. You just wonder what the fuck is going on. So to keep on track with the celebrity kind of this episode is going to be kind of like media focused, obviously, because media is everywhere and your phone is constantly and news is in your face. But this is really weird, but there's a lot of what I see is A-list actors interacting with like C-list, D-list, fucking Z-list, whatever actors, on people from YouTube, or they have their own podcasts. Or I just find it weird, because there were a couple of years ago you would never see someone on the internet. Like obviously media is getting larger and larger, but like just a couple of years ago you would never see someone on YouTube talk to someone, and like you wouldn't never see these kind of people interacting with movie stars, the people who are living in Beverly Hills and they're making 20-30 grand off a movie, and these people are sitting in their rooms and they're recording videos. I just find it odd. So one of the things that happened this week was fucking goddamn Logan Paul and Jake Paul, fucking whatever. They called out Conor McGregor, and I just thought that was very odd, very very odd, that these two dummies are trying to they were trying to get a fight with him. So Logan Paul said that he would fight CM Punk, which he'd probably kick his ass, but yeah, Jake Paul said that they should fight Conor McGregor, and it's just weird to see that these kind of this culture clash, I guess you could say, between these two very very similar but very very different groups. interact. And I don't I don't have a problem with it. Obviously, I just find it very odd. And So another thing that happened this week or a couple days ago, it's been about 9 days. So Kanye West recently went on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and I just have to say, first off, fuck Jimmy Kimmel. He's just an old. He looks like he's fucking dying. He just looks terrible. I don't really like him. There's a lot of talk show hosts that I don't really like. There's only fucking 3 Jimmys that are important in the world: Jimmy Buffett, Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Neutron. But this is Jimmy. Interviewed Kanye West, and the spark from this interview was he asked. They were talking about Donald Trump or whatever, and Jimmy Kimmel. So Kanye West, obviously, if you live under a rock, has been very supportive of Donald Trump, which I don't see there's an issue, because if you have your own political beliefs and your own whatever, you should be able to follow whoever you want. Maybe Donald Trump isn't the best person to agree with on things, but you can't be mad at someone for their own beliefs, and that's what Kanye's been getting a lot of backfire from. A lot of he actually had a song on his album called "Wouldn't Leave," and it just talks about how he went on TMZ, and he said that famous black people are slaves or whatever. His outburst. Sorry. Yeah, slavery was a choice. Probably not the smartest thing he could ever say. But so Jimmy Kimmel starts drilling him, obviously, for being, I guess, a Trump supporter. But what kind of bothers me the most is that he's talking to him or whatever, and Kanye there was a couple years ago where I believe it was Hurricane Katrina, and I guess a bunch of celebrities were doing like telephone calls to raise money, and the most famous clip obviously from it is when Kanye West says George Bush doesn't care about black people. So Jimmy Kimmel wanted to kind of twist on Kanye and put him on the spot. So they're having a discussion about Trump and all that, and Kanye's trying to explain himself to why he agrees with or coincides with Trump, and Jimmy Kimmel hits him with you said so passionately George Bush doesn't care about black people, right after he mentions about what Donald Trump is doing at the border, separating families, like kids from their families, and all that, which is disgusting. But what I'm trying to focus on is what Jimmy Kimmel he asks Kanye the question, and he gives him about 4 or 5 seconds to kind of answer, and then he cuts to it and goes, "We'll take a commercial break." And a lot of people, like, when it first came out in the media, a lot of people saw that, and that, like, because they obviously, once people watch it on TV, they're gonna obviously pick the highlights out of the interview, and obviously from that they just clipped that, not the full interview, they just clipped that part. So it made Kanye look terrible to not be able to respond to Jimmy Kimmel quickly. But as you can see, he's thinking about what he's about to say, and obviously Kanye is very, very outspoken and just an odd guy. He's definitely doing some fucking psychedelics, especially like after his last album, The Life of Pablo, and listening to this new album. He's still Kanye West, but he's got a lot of new outlooks, and he's very, very, he doesn't want to say he's depressed or anything, but you can tell where you've been, like, well, he's out come and said he struggled with addiction, with opioids and shit. But when you're at low points like that, and you're building your, like, I feel like a lot of people are becoming woke, quote unquote woke, but a lot of people are addressing obviously mental health issues and things like that. And Kanye was very open about all this, and obviously on his album it says, I hate being bipolar, it's awesome. And they talk about that in the interview as well. But I just feel like it was a very, very just a shot at Kanye West, and I just feel like you should be able to, no matter what, you live in a country like the United States, you shouldn't have to, like, if it's really necessary, you should have to, I guess, explain yourself in your politicals. But I just feel like it was, it's just another media target. Kanye's been getting a lot of bad publicity. Obviously, there's no such thing as bad publicity, but he's getting a lot of bad publicity for his views, and I just don't think that's fine. I just don't think that's cool. He's just it's just fucked up. He should be able to say what he wants to say, and there should be no backlash. Yeah. So another thing I read in the news today, or not today, this week, was there was a new New Mexico compound. Again, this is more focused on the media aspect. There's a compound found in New Mexico, which, like, this is really fucked up. It's pretty disgusting. But there was 11 to 12 missing children, I guess, and they were found in a compound in New Mexico with guns, and they were starving and they were malnourished, which is really fucked up. But when I first read the article, it said that they were, obviously this is the media again being able to, without the full story coming out, it's just a shot in the dark. They were like, compound in New Mexico found to train school shooters. And I read that, and that really fucking intrigued me. I was like, what the fuck? So I obviously wanted to do a little piece on it. And in these people, they took these kids, and I guess there was a 3-year-old boy. So there was a father. One of the men who kidnapped these kids was a father to one of the children. And in the article, it talks about how the kid has a disease. So he just has some disease, right? And the father, I guess, is a little bit radical. And again, this is no targeting to any racial groups, but this is it said that they were Muslim, and they're wearing traditional hijabs and traditional Muslim dress. But I don't. Again, this is not never trying to target these people, these kind of groups, on their religious orientation. There's definitely a lot of really good Muslims out there. All this, sorry, but that's the media again targeting certain groups. But regardless, I don't give a fuck what not sexual orientation, sorry, whatever religious orientation you are, whatever this is fucked up. This is really, really fucked up. There was 2 men and 3 women who were hiding these kids in a compound. There was tons of guns around them. I don't know what the fucking story's gonna be when it comes out, but it's just fucked up. It's just really fucked up. And you know, in the article it says the lawyer for the guy, Siraj Wahaj, sorry. It says that his lawyer would, you know, say no one would. So the people are that got convicted are black Muslims, right? So what the lawyer said was, no one would bat an eye if the suspects were white Christians accused of shooting guns on their property or practicing their religion. If these were white people of a Christian faith who own guns, that's not a big deal because there's a Second Amendment right to own firearms in this country. If these were white Christians, faith healing is of no conscience because we have freedom of religion in this country. But they look different and they worship differently from the rest of us. I just gotta say, that's a fucking terrible defense. When, you know, you find one dead kid, one dead 3-year-old, and then 11 malnourished children, you know. And you look at this, and you look at the compound, and it's literally in the middle of the fucking desert. So, of course, actually, thinking about this, there was actually a very, very famous thing as well, where these kids in Florida were being held hostage by their parents. It was like 11 children, and you know, it was like the neighbors were you know, the neighbors hadn't, like, they hadn't seen the kids, and when this for like a month at a time, you know, when the kids would come out, they were super malnourished and skinny, and you know, they were wearing raggedy ass clothes. So what I have to say to that, whatever the lawyer's defense is, that was fucking shit, because obviously people would bat an eye, you know. I think when kids are involved, everyone's fucking like, what the hell's going on, you know? So again, the media, you know, people are trying to fucking shift the blame on everyone, you know. I mean, there is a lot of racial issues going on, but I don't think, like, it definitely not things are not at the magnitude where they were back in the 50s, and you know, even before that. But you know, we're still having a lot of fucking issues. But it's just fucked up, man. It's really, really fucked up, and I see this shit, and it's scary, man, that these kind of things are happening in the world. Really, really scary. But yeah, my thoughts on, you know, like, this kind of just a gist of the, you know, what I've taken this week is, like, you know, the media is, I don't know, it's very, very trying to blame everyone. You know, everyone's trying to blame everyone for a lot of reasons that are kind of unknown. I don't know why everybody just can't get along. You know, it's fucked up. Just allow people to do what they want to do. I don't know. But yeah, it's weird. Another thing, again, with the media is Alex Jones. If you don't know who this kook is, he's a conservative. I believe it's very, very, very on the. I don't know if it's I would say probably the right. Like, he's very, very, very right wing. You know, he's a conspiracy theorist, like a fucking crazy conspiracy theorist. And you know, so this week he was actually banned from a numerous amount of platforms on the internet. You know, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, iTunes took him off, Spotify took his show off, and it's just, you got to think about, you know, freedom of speech again, where, you know, of course this guy has said some really, really fucking terrible things. Like, you know, he was well, actually, I watched a video this week where he denounced what he said about the Sandy Hook shootings. And if you don't know who Alex Jones is, he's probably most famous for saying that the water is turning the frickin' frogs gay. But, you know, another thing that he's very famous for is being a Sandy Hook denier. So he said that the CIA and the CIA and the FBI or whatever staged this shooting, to get at gun owners to be like, look what your guns are doing. And I don't, I don't own a gun. I've never shot a gun, but I just don't see there a need to be a gun. So, but a lot of people do in the United States feel that they are safer sleeping with a gun at night. So, we'll fucking figure that out one day. But so yeah, he was actually blacklisted from all these websites, which is very, very crazy to think about it. For someone who's obviously a conspiracy theorist, and I don't think when you watch Alex Jones kind of content, you should be very taking him seriously. I mean, there are probably people that do take him seriously, but if you meet those people in real life, they're probably not the smartest bunch. And they're just not the smartest people, obviously. So I feel like a lot of people who do watch his content are probably poking fun at him, but it just kind of makes you think that if you can't be outspoken and have this kind of free speech, to kind of say whatever you want, and a lot of these companies are obviously private, and they do have a lot of terms and conditions where they don't allow these kind of toleration of it says here that Facebook bars hate speech, which is a direct attack on people based on what we call protected characteristics of race, ethnicity, national origin, religious affliction, sexual orientation, taste, gender, blah 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 blah, serious disease, disability. It's just obviously I don't think that everyone is going to agree on the same thing, and Alex Jones kind of fucking takes it fucking deep in the field, fucking grand slam, goes crazy with it. But if you've ever if you ever watched Alex Jones, he's kind of a kook. He is a kook. But at the end of the day, if you're really taking what he says seriously, you're kind of a fucking idiot. It's just weird, and it just makes you think. A lot of people get in trouble for the things they say online, and people say watch what you post online because it's forever, right? But it just makes you think, yeah, what can you say? What can't you say? If these kind of companies are banning you for being outspoken in a way you think, maybe your decision is not always right. Or not your decision, your thought process is not always right, but it's a free country, you should be able to say what you think. And I mean, with the Sandy Hook thing, you probably should never comment on saying that dead children are actors. That's kind of fucking stupid. But like a lot of people, like, again, he's very famous for being a conspiracy about 9/11 and Pizzagate and the underground pedophile, which is the underground pedophile ring in the United States and all that, which I do believe is actually fucking real. I do. One of the biggest things that's coming out right now in the media is that there is like huge pedophile rings in fucking Hollywood and these very, very high elite kind of people. And when before the NSA and CIA and the FBI are listening to this right now and they bust through my door, I do believe these kind of things exist. I actually do. I actually feel these kind of things do exist. And Alex Jones, he's not like obviously the greatest person, but what he says is it's just what he's talking about. Not like 99% of the times it's conspiracy theories. And if you've ever fucking heard about a conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy. There's no like legitimate proof to it. And you can make up and conjure whatever you want from pictures or what people say, but at the end of the day, the government is obviously withholding knowledge from the public, as well as you don't know yourself. A lot of people have their own beliefs, and it's just weird. This is weird. But again, it just makes you think about what you can and cannot say. Alex Jones is fully banned from everything now. He doesn't really have a platform other than his own website, that he can host. But it's just, it just makes you think what you can and cannot say on the internet. Yeah. So another thing I just want to tack on is welcome home to Kodak Black. He's out of jail. He served 7 months. Served 7 months for very, very not stupid reasons, but it was very funny. I actually think I watched the Instagram live stream, not the one where, like, I don't think he got arrested on the live stream, but he was on live stream with smoking weed, and there was some guns around, and his kid is in the background in these videos, and that's just kind of a recipe for disaster when you're on probation, especially in America. So obviously someone snitched on him, called the police, and Kodak got nailed for like child neglect. So I'm reading his charges here. He was charged with grand theft of a firearm, because actually the firearm they found wasn't in his name. Possession of marijuana, child neglect, 2 counts of possession of a weapon by a felon. So yeah, he's a felon, and 2 counts of probation violation. So he really, really got fucked. He was looking at like crazy. I think it was like 20 years, obviously, with all that. But obviously, when you got money and you got a good lawyer, you can get out. So he pled not guilty to possession of the firearm, because I guess probably someone else took the dive for him. And he's out, man. He's fucking out. Kodak's out. I'm happy. I like Kodak's music. It's gonna be great. Just got to be smarter at what you do on the internet. And another thing that's going on in the music world right now is Nicki Minaj is kind of losing her shit. So Nicki Minaj released her album Queen. I talked about this last time on the podcast. Whatever. I'm not like, I don't really listen to Nicki Minaj. I don't think. She's just not my kind of music, whatever. But she's going on and on and on. Like, she's really, really, really trying hard to defend herself right now with all these kind of, she's like, I write my own music. If you ask anybody, blah, 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 I do such shit all myself, and she just went on this huge Twitter rant recently where she called out her ex-boyfriend Safari, said he fucking has a hair implant, she was doing shit for him, like, when he was doing nothing, and then he was saying that she stabbed him, and she's crazy and all that shit. I just think Nicki Minaj is kind of losing her mind. She's having a fucking little fucking mental breakdown. But, whatever. She got fucking money. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. But, yeah. She's going a little bonkers right now. And, she's beefing now with Travis Scott about her album sales. And, she called DJ Academics, and she was saying that, she sold 190K units. And I guess these numbers are not accurate. I saw 190K. And I guess Travis Scott sold 200 in his first week. And, obviously when you're an artist like that, you want to be competitive with everyone, especially when back on, like, minority kind of things. When you're a female rapper, there's not a female rappers that are out there, especially at Nicki Minaj's level, right? So, especially she wants to be fucking extremely, extremely competitive. But, she's just going fucking bonkers. She's just lying and shit. And, I guess her album's not doing as well as she wants to. And she added the 6ix9ine song Fifi to boost her album sales, apparently. So, just, I don't know. Rich people be rich, and they're full of themselves, and they're all nuts, kind of crazy. So one other thing, I guess, kind of came out this week that I saw was legal private marijuana sales are going to be allowed in Canada. So what that means is, probably I just described it terribly, but just private sellers, so I guess anyone who grows their own weed. So private store owners, can now distribute marijuana to customers. So, if you want to set up a weed shop, you can do that. The law before was everything was going to be controlled by the LCBO, which is the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, but they would also they got to change their name. They can control the Liquor Marijuana Control Board of Ontario, but they got to change their name. But yeah, so everyone can sell their own weed if they want to. I guess I just need a license. Online distribution will be handled by the government, as well as they will have their own stores. But I think that's a really, really good move by Canada and the Ontario government, to pass this, because that'll just boost a lot of sales, and that'll just make the marijuana business grow, which is something Canada needs. We need a big economic boost to put us back up there. Our dollar's doing pretty shit right now, which kind of sucks if you ever want to buy shit in the States. I think that's great. Obviously, I like smoking weed, so to be able to grow my own weed and maybe sell it one day is pretty fucking cool. So props to Canada. Okay, so just some personal stuff for this week is I'm trying to stop smoking weed. Weed is very, very fun, but everything needs to be taken in not doses, but you need to be fucking smart about everything you do. And this summer, I touched on this last week. I just living on your own, you don't have to live with your parents, you're not living on res, you can kind of just do whatever you want. So this summer I just did whatever I wanted, and a lot of that was smoking a lot of weed. And I won't say how much I spent on weed, but it was a number I don't want to fucking be proud of. But I've come to the conclusion that I need to stop smoking weed. And a lot of my friends have said that we're gonna stop smoking weed too, because it kind of just holds you back. It kind of prevents you from doing what you want to do. And if you've obviously smoked weed, you get you can definitely be a functional stoner. And there's times when you're also just sitting in your bed high as fuck, eating Cheetos and watching fucking YouTube videos. That happens. But I'm just trying to stop because I want to be able to see myself do more. And that's what happened this summer. Is I definitely did some things this summer. I mean, I was mostly working. I gotta save up, pay rent. I want to go travel and stuff, right? But I did spend a lot of money on weed, which is bad. So it was a very financial pit I fell into, but it was also a very personal pit I fell into. I've kind of reflected on it. I was like, man, I probably could have done a lot more this summer if I wasn't smoking as much weed. And so I've talked to some friends, and people are saying they want to do sober September or sober October, which I think is a excellent decision for a lot of people. Oh, my bad. Sorry, the mic just fell off. Sorry, to anyone listening, this is going to be a quick fix. Okay. But yeah, a lot of people have been talking about sober September, sober October. But I think for myself, I'm going to try. I think that's excellent. You just kind of realize you got to stop smoking weed, when you're doing it almost every day. You just realize you got to fucking stop. And yeah, the reason why, I want to stop. This really was kind of the moment this week. I was a friend of mine at home here. He was he was like, hey man, there's a Greek fest across the street actually from us. And he was like, hey man, you want to go to Greek fest? And I was super fucking blasted, and I was just lying in bed, and I was just like, nah man, that kind of thing. But it's not because I didn't want to go. Like, you want to do a lot of things, and that's what I've kind of reflected on, is like marijuana just kind of, once you get sucked into that, if you know what the abyss is, you know what the abyss is. So once you get sucked into the abyss with weed, it's really, really hard to come out. And I've been sucked into the abyss this summer, and I said I wouldn't do that, but I did do that. So I just want to take a break. If I can try to do it for a month, I can do it for a month. If I can do it for 2, I can do it for 2. If I can do it for 4, whatever. If I can do it for a year, if I can, whatever. Personally, do I think I will stop smoking weed forever? No. But I do need to be able to I can obviously cope without weed, but I just need to be able to not do it all the time. So, yeah. That being said, I am going home next week. For like I was home in earlier, I think it was like July 1st or something. Maybe August 1st. No, July 1st. So I haven't been home I don't go home often, but I'm going home. And I'm probably going to smoke a lot of weed because I'm going to see my friends. But that's fun. Yeah. I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that this week I was doing litter picks. So for my job, I pick up garbage. So, I'm that motherfucker that you see in the parking lots at Loblaws, changing the garbages and picking up all your shit. So anyone that's listening, please don't litter. I have to pick up all your garbage, and it really fucking sucks. But yeah, I was doing that this week, and I had my work truck, which I mentioned earlier, but I was able to go hiking today, which was actually very nice. I went to Gatineau Park, and I went to Pink Lake, and man, that was really fucking nice to go out and do something like that today. And that's really what I want to do more of this summer. Go out and do kind of things like that. And that's what I plan to do when I go away, is to go hiking and go explore the world. So first thing is, I gotta stop smoking weed because my fat ass was fucking huffing and puffing on these goddamn trails. So yeah, but it was fucking nice. It was really, really nice. It was a beautiful day today, and it was it's a very, very heavily wooded area. Obviously, there's trails, and there's like a road that goes alongside it, kind of. But it was so beautiful, and to get out in environments like that when you're not sitting in your room, or you're not fucking picking up garbage at 3 a.m, it's fucking excellent. It's things I want to do. That being said, about going back home, just gotta say, some people from my high school be wildin'. So obviously I will never fucking call people out. I will never say names. I feel like everyone should be, protected to a degree. I don't obviously have beef with any of these people, and I'm not trying to start any beef. But that being said, this week, I saw a couple people. So I come from Oshawa, if you know what Oshawa is. It's the dirty schwa. So one of the things we're most notorious for is teenage pregnancies, which is funny because, I knew a good amount of people growing up who I did know who got pregnant, which is not the greatest of choices, but at the end of the day, it's not my choice. You do what you want to do, but in my mind, I can't even fucking take care of myself. I spend all my money on weed, and I fucking don't do shit all day. So when you're kind of having to take care of a whole human being, it's kind of crazy. it's fucking nuts. So yeah, man, it's just fucking crazy, And I mean, it's not like I'm not saying I'm at the age where nothing surprises me. Shit still surprises me. I see some people that I'm like, holy fuck, you're having a baby, or you know, people are going to jail and shit. Like, you know, it's just fucked, you know. Like, I don't know. I mean, life after high school, that's all I can say. You know, that's when people are really starting to live their lives, you know. But fuck, that shit's crazy. God damn. People be wildin'. That's all I gotta say. People are crazy. People are crazy. But at the end of the day, you know, do your own thing. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life, but I just can't take care of a baby because I can't take care of myself. Yeah. So I'm gonna end this podcast on something another story that happened to me this week. So I was doing litter picks. I was going to do a litter pick that night, and it was Thursday night. So we'll start the scene Thursday night. I got home. This was the first day of me working nights, so I already worked during the day on Thursday, and my boss asked me to work Thursday night. I said, yeah, whatever. So I got home, and I went to sleep. I wanted to start my little pick late so I could get a little bit of sleep before, so I didn't fucking die. I woke up at 2, and you know, I'm not gonna make a direct accusation, but I am making a direct accusation. So, 2 o'clock, I go to the bathroom. I go to take a piss. You know, whatever, normal bathroom shit. But what I see in the bathroom is something that I'm like, what the fuck? So, in the bathroom, I have an electric toothbrush, right? And it's got, you know, it's one of those Oral-B ones. So you fucking just stab it on the post and it charges. And, you know, I'm going to start out with this. I keep that motherfucking thing on the charger. I keep it on the charger, right? Don't ever take it off. It's always on the charger. And I walk in the bathroom and I see it's off the charger. And, you know, I'm not going to make an accusation, but my friend has a lady friend that comes over sometimes. And I'm 100% sure that she used it. And I'm not going to, man, you know, I'm not going to be like a fucking dick and be like, fuck you. Like, I did say, like, okay, I'll explain what happened. So, I saw that shit and I flipped the fuck out. I freaked out. Obviously, you would be fucking pissed off when you see that someone's using your toothbrush. I was pissed. I was so pissed. I was like, what the fuck? So, you know, my glass was already a little bit full. And that day, I just had a long day that day. I was working with a fucking idiot. I was working with a dummy. I was working with a dummy that day, and it sucked. It was raining that day, and I had to fucking push a lawnmower on a hill, and I fell like 8 times, and I fucking almost cut my fingers off and shit, and I was already pissed off that day. So then, you know, I fucking come home, I go to sleep, you know, I brushed my teeth earlier, and I put it on the charger. I remember at 10 o'clock, I brushed my teeth so I could sleep. I put it on the charger, and then at 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, and it was not on the charger, and I was fucking furious. So I overreacted, you know, So I fucking sprayed. She left some jewelry in there. I sprayed all her fucking jewelry, and you know, she had some face wash, and I dumped it down the fucking drain, and I stuffed my buddy's toothbrush down the fucking sink. So like, I was like, and I wrote a note. I was like, don't use my fucking toothbrush because this hasn't been the first time. I've definitely seen my toothbrush out of place, and you know, and I'm like, I'm not trying to be like I'm a fucking like saint, you know. I'm never trying to fucking preach like I'm a good person or anything like that, but I know I put that fucking toothbrush on the charger all the time. I know I do, because I hate when it's dead. When it's dead, I hate fucking manually brushing my teeth like a bitch. Fuck you if you're not on that wave. But yeah, man, so I got fucking pissed. I was just mad. But when I reflect on it, you know, did I act appropriately? Not really, to be honest. You know, I acted very immaturely. But at the end of the day, don't use my fucking toothbrush. And the thing is it was wet too. So I was like, what the fuck, man? I was just like, fuck. I was super pissed. So, you know, coming home. So if you see me with any cold sores on my lips, you definitely know why. Yeah. But, that's all I really got for, again, this episode. You know, sorry if I'm not gonna apologize. I just want to thank everyone, you know, again, for listening. Again, I definitely want everyone to. This podcast is mostly for me, as much as it is for you, the listener, but it's more so for me to kind of talk about things. It's more so to do something. Again, this goes back on the marijuana thing. I didn't really do much this summer, but I want to be able to create things and be something I'm proud of. And I tried some things. I bought an easel, I bought an art book. I occasionally write music that will never come out. But yeah, I just tried a bunch of different things, and I feel like the podcast, I've definitely had I had some really, really good friends, message me, and say that, that it'd be fucking awesome to come on, and people that I don't talk to who, were like, yeah, man, I'd love to be on the podcast. I think that would be fun. So that's fucking awesome, and 40 people that listen to it, even if you didn't listen to the full fucking thing, I appreciate you listening to 5 minutes of it. It means a lot to me. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who listens and will continue to listen. And hopefully I keep putting things out that I enjoy and that you enjoy. And again, obviously share. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and hopefully in the next one maybe I'll have a guest. I do really plan to have some guests, spark the conversation. It's a little hard to talk on your own for, an hour at a time. And obviously me, again, I kind of ramble a little bit. So that's something I'm trying to work on and get off topic a little bit. But that's okay, whatever. At the end of the day, just trying to work out the mic levels, make sure I'm kind of on topic. Just shoot the shit for a little bit, and that's whatever. But again, sorry to keep on rambling, but thank you to everyone that listened and tuned in. And I'll see you in the next one.